Obviously, it's surprises obviously off the back of Friday night, but we had the job at hand. We had to obviously make sure we got through on Sunday in the next round of the cup, and this week's pretty much been focused on the game at Dundee. Yeah, but it's been a little bit of a whirlwind kind of few days over the course of the weekend, but the lads have got, as I said, there was a game like 40 hours later, so we had to get the head on and make sure we won the game, which we done, and now everything's focused on Sunday.
How did you find out, and what was your initial reaction?
Like I said, it was a bit of shock considering we had left the training ground that day, and there was, like I said, everything was in preparation for the cup tie against Morton, so it was a bit of a shock when the message started to come through on Friday night.
As a senior player, what's your role been then in trying to make sure everyone is together and to get focused on the football rather than thinking about what else is going on?
To be honest, that position doesn't really change. I mean, we've had Murch come in, and David and Craig's always been assisting. Jim's obviously been a constant as well, so their job was, like you say, to get the lads focused on what was on the job at hand, which was to get through on Sunday. Again, my role doesn't really change. You're there to help any way you can. If it takes a little bit of steady in the ship, then that's what we've got to do. But to be honest, we're footballers. It's our job to go on the pitch and affect what we can, which was to win games.
What, have you been addressed by anyone from the board about what's going on?
No, we got addressed last week. I think that was said. We got a quick 5 minutes and just obviously let us know what was happening, how the club were moving forward, and that was it.
Do the players need updated? Do they want to know what's going on?
To be honest with you, I think I said we control what we can, which is win football matches, prepare right, which we've done this week. It's been a good positive week off the back of what happened last week, so it is only focus for us is to go and win the game on Sunday.
People already talking about what's next, Kerry, and the club suggesting they want to perhaps shake up the structure altogether, whether that's a director of football or whatever that may be. What are your thoughts on potentially heading in that direction?
Listen, I think it's a kind of, I'm going to say a modern day thing, but a lot of this week's been made of how far back it actually goes, the role, so I don't think it's anything new. If that's the road the board choose to go down, then again, it's nothing really to do with us. If that's the structure they want to put in place to ensure that the club is constantly moving forward, I mean, I think the gist I'm kind of getting at is that no matter who's in charge, that the club have a plan and a path that they want to go along, so if the director of football is going to maintain that, taking the club along that path, then I think that's the road to go down.
One of the other names we hear quite a lot this week is Alex McLeish, a man you've kind of come across at various points in your career. What would your thoughts be on that?
Listen, Alex was here. He had a really successful spell at the club. He knows the club. He's a self-confessed Rangers man. That's what we read this week as well, which is always a positive. So, listen, I've worked in the international scene as well. He done a good job. So, listen, it's way above my pay grade in terms of deciding who's going to be the man to take the club forward, but there's no doubt the candidates have been mentioned. There's some very good ones.
If there's no immediate solution to be found, and perhaps it's as you were until the end of the season, with the way the stage of your career you're at and your interest in coaching and so on, are you going to take on a increased responsibility? Is that something you would welcome?
You know, like I said, my responsibility remains the same, whether any role. Again, I take that upon myself. For me, I've always said I'm a player. I want to play as long as I can, and as long as I'm contributing on the pitch, that's where my focus lies. If asked to take any other kind of position or any other kind of role or help it in any way we can, then listen, we're more than happy to do so. But for me, I'm firmly focused on being a player at the moment.
How's Graham adapted to the situation he's in this week?
It's been great. I mean, I've obviously worked with him, obviously having a wee role with the 20s, so I know what he's about. I know him as a player as well, played alongside him a few times, so I know he's I was impressed with the minute he came in, to be honest with you, what he was doing with the 20s, and he's pretty much carried that on with the first team squad. So he's been really clear on how he wants to work and what his thoughts and visions for us moving forward are, and the lads seem to be responding so far. So it's been a positive week.
He's obviously not got the experience of working with a first team, but do you think he's got that within himself to take the team forward in the short term?
Listen, it's no short. Obviously the experience is not there, but it's no short at all. The work that we've done this week is, like I say, it's been a really positive week. He's been clear in the way he wants us to move forward as a team in terms of how we play. So I can't speak highly enough of him, to be honest. I mean, he has been thrown at the Lions Den, So the job that he's done so far has been great, and like I said, it's been a really positive week.
If you were to have to be asked to do it to the end of the season, you think he's somebody who could handle that quite well then?
Listen, if he's asked to do that, then I'm sure he'll just have to get on with that, which is what he pretty much said on Friday night when he got the phone call. It was an opportunity that he was never going to turn down, so he knows what he's capable of. The team, the players in the dressing room are fully behind him, and we know what the most important thing is that we secure second, hopefully win the cup. Obviously the goals are still firmly in our sight, and they've not changed despite who the manager is.
Kenny, finally for me, just your own situation. We spoke a few times about your contract situation with this turmoil that the club's now in. Does that affect that in any way?
You know, for me, like, I've actually not really thought about that too much, considering what's happened over the last week. So it's important that the club get that side it sorted out first, get the right man in charge for the club moving forward, whichever structure that may be, and then I'm sure they'll get around to dealing with the lads, whether it's yeses or nos. Then a bit secondary at the moment to finding a new manager to take the club forward.
Kenny, you said it's been a really positive week. What has been different under Graham as opposed to the previous management team in terms of trying new things?
Yeah, no, it's always a question that you get asked when a new manager comes in, and it's not about anything different. It's about the manager coming in and putting a stamp on it. I mean, again, he's not going to come in and make wholesale changes, because it would just be crazy to do that. He's come in and he's putting a little bit of spin on how he wants us to play. Obviously, he watches us. He's there every week at home watching the games. I'm sure he watches the away games on TV as well, so he knows what we're about. He knows what we're good at, what we're not so good at. So it's just kind of addressing them, reinforcing a message which has maybe already been there, but just kind of making wee changes on how we can be better, which we know over the course of the season we can be a lot better. So if we can find a wee extra % here or there, and that's through Graham's instructions, that'll be great. So I'm sure the longer it goes on, the more we'll see maybe more little changes coming into it, but at the moment it's just focusing on trying to make us better, making us a wee bit more organised than what we've maybe shown. But not so much different. There's not so much change going on so far. But like I said, it's been a really positive week on the things we have worked on, and going into Sunday we're in a good mood, good place going into the game.
Right in saying towards the end of the Morton game, played two up front. If that were to be the case under Graham, how would that change your role?
Listen, again, it's not any different for positions that I've played in the past. Obviously, I've played in the front three, anywhere along that line. Under Mark, I've played a front two, and there are many managers I've played as a lone striker many a time as well. So for me, it's not really about the shape or what kind of formation we play. It's about us when we cross that white line, the lads carrying out the instruction, and now Graham, that we go out and we carry his instruction as best we can, because he feels that's the best way that we're going to get the result on Sunday and moving forward as well. So it's whether we play 2 up, 1 up, 3 up, it doesn't really bother me.
How does the club ensure that the disruption is minimal when it comes to a manager leaving and a new one coming in?
That's again, they're things that I can't really answer. I mean, again, we as a team, straight away, the words together, unity, always come to the fore when a manager leaves, because we do. The lads need to get together and realise that we've played a part in what's going on here, because we've maybe not performed as well as what we could have. And I don't think that's the lads in that dressing room are an honest bunch, and we've realised that we've at times this year not performed as well as we could have. Again, that shows in points gaps. That shows that we're at the moment trailing Aberdeen in second. So we know we've not performed as well as we can, and it's about between now, I think we've 14 games left in the league. It's about putting that right and making sure that we secure second, as I say, and have a good as run in the cup as we can.
I know you said earlier that the club's got to come first, but kind of still further leaves you in limbo, doesn't it, in terms of where you're going to be next?
It does, like I say, that's went to the kind of back of my mind at the moment. My firm focus is on doing what we can, which is win football matches, win 3 points on Sunday, move forward there and go into Inverness game, and that's all we can do. Again, it does ultimately, there's no individuals more important than any club, so it's important we get the manager situation sorted first, because I don't think anybody in their right mind is going to start making decisions on players either re-signing or leaving until a new manager's in place.
Are you willing to wait then, Kenny? You're quite patient then, and make sure everything's sorted out first?
No choice in it. Can't go anywhere, can we? No, listen, I'm more than happy. Like I say, that's when these kind of things happen, it definitely does become a secondary issue, any individual's kind of needs or wants. So it's important the club sort out the foreseeable future and how the plan on how, like I said, whether it's director of football, and that's the plan that we've got to move forward, get all that sorted, then the players will get dealt with after that.
Mark released a statement this week in which he thanked the players and the staff here for their part. Have you heard from him? Have you been in contact with him?
I spoke to him. I spoke to him after it happened. Obviously, it was we've had a very good working relationship in the 20 months that him, Davey, and Frank were here. So it was, I said, it was a surprise and a bit of a shock the way it came out on Friday night. But listen, it's football. He wishes us all the best. We definitely wish him all the best and thank him for his efforts over the last 20 months, because he's had a big role to play in this team, the way we play, how we want to play moving forward. He's had a big role in that. So I'm sure everybody does at the club can speak for all the players, thanking them very much for the input that him, Dave and Frank had in that.
You expect them to move on and do well elsewhere then?
Listen, we hope so. Again, what's happened off the field is above my pay grade. I can't comment on what's went on, but it's always sad when you see a manager leave their position. So we wish him all the best, and I'm sure he'll go on to have a really good management career.